Hello, everybody. Entertainment Fuse presents Digital High. I am Aaron, my co-host Vincent,
Hello.
and we've got quite a bit to talk about today, don't we, Vince?
Yeah, we do. First time I've ever played a Final Fantasy game was this week, which is
Really?
really weird. Yeah, between that and the 2 inches of snow shutting down where I live, the Atlanta area, it's been a weird week so far.
Yeah, we've been having just sub-zero weather where I'm at, so thankfully all 10 toes and fingers are still attached.
Has the Atlanta like freak out been covered up there? Cause like, I have friends in like DC and still in the like LA area where I was living before. And when I talked to them, they're like, "Hey, what's going down there in Atlanta? I see blah 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 going on and on the TVs, and I see people freaking out. You guys only got like a 2 inches of snow. What's going on?"
The only thing I heard like anybody freaking out, but they were freaking out a good way was like, what was it, Houston? Houston, Texas, they got like an inch or two, something like that.
Hmm.
That was it, but I mean that was just from like Facebook. But where I'm at, it's pretty much the world's largest podunk town. I mean, we're small-minded here. We bitch and moan about the cold and oh no, there's gonna be more snow. It's like, yeah, oh no, because y'all don't know how to freaking drive up here apparently. I kid you not. We there where I'm at. Apparently the IQ minimum is 60. So
I did see some YouTube videos of some silly crashes that happen here. Just like multiple people just going down the same road, hitting the brakes at the same time, then like sliding into each other. But I mean, we're not used to snow down here. It might snow like one day out of the year, and it's like half an inch, 1 inch. Like that's pretty much it. So we're not really used to driving in snow.
well, wasn't there something like I almost want to say I thought it was like the Onion or something like that, but I might be wrong. It might have been NPR. I thought it was something like there was a highway that was left abandoned. Like everybody left their cars because of how bad the snowstorm was. Like there were so many accidents, people just had to actually leave their cars in order to get out of there, and they're just now
Yeah,
getting
I
back
saw a
to it.
little bit of that.
Yeah.
I know one of the local news people were interviewing a guy who's like stayed in his car like 12 hours because he couldn't. Cause it was, people in front of him had abandoned it and just like it was just going. Because the thing is, they didn't salt the highways at all. Because like every week they kind of say the snow's coming, time to freak out, time to buy bread and milk, which are like
Jesus
the two worst
Christ.
things to buy if the power goes out. But but that happens every week, and this time it actually happened. So but no one was prepared.
See, to me that's shocking, but I've always lived in the Midwest, so to me snow, my idea of fun in winter since I don't snowboard anymore is going down an empty road and just gunning it and fishtailing back and forth and driving as far as I can, weaving all across the road. And yeah, that's my idea of fun because it's not that hard. It's kind of hard for me to understand how people can be like, "Oh my God, there's a few inches of snow. I can't drive now." It
I mean, that would be like if you saw a tornado coming at you, because like you're you're not in Wisconsin. Where are you again?
Illinois. So
You're in
I've seen
Chicago.
my fair share of tornadoes.
What is like? Well, I'm just trying to give an example. This is like if some like L.A. They're used to, or California in general, they're used to wildfires. But if you see a wildfire in Illinois, then you might be like, what the hell is going on? But someone in Cali would just be like, oh, whatever. I mean, we're just used to what we're used to.
Where's the s'mores?
Yeah, you would be running. Or if you guys got an earthquake, you'd be like, "What the
We
hell?"
actually had an earthquake, and everybody kept on going on about it. Me, I slept through it. It's like, oh my God, did you feel that earthquake? No.
You just thought you were gassy.
I just felt like, oh man, that chicken ain't sitting right. Oh. No, but I mean, I get it. I understand it, but at the same time, it's not like, the apocalypse. There's different events. People are like, oh my God, there's an earthquake. It's like, yeah. Did you?
Yeah,
Did
I mean, for me, it was just like cool. It's snowing. When you're in the South, it's like some weird mystical thing that rarely happens. So
Is
for
it
me, it was
raining
like,
coke?
okay,
Oh my God.
yeah, basically, snorting it wasn't fun, um, but yeah, I mean, I went outside. It was weird because it was like no kids outside. It was just like me and my sister just walking around in the snow. Just two adults walking around in our front and backyard. Just like, I wonder if there's no kids out. Anyway, I'm gonna throw a snowball at you. So
See that makes me just go, what the hell? Because like that was the fun stuff as a kid, going out and snowball fights and things like that, and building a snow fort. Like, mommy, I don't understand the white stuff. It's cold. I don't get it. I understand it, but I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like someone in Miami is like, how did you not grow up near a beach? Like, yeah, not everyone grew up near a
That's
beach.
true. You
So,
don't know how to surf, plebe.
yeah. But other than that, I forgot you emailed me, right? You was like, "Hey, is the Final Fantasy demo out? We
Yeah.
should check it out or something like that." And I don't think I've ever played a Final Fantasy
My
before,
God.
so that was I don't I'm not really into Japanese games. If it's not hack and slash, like a Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden or something like that. Other than that, and Metal Gear, like hack and slash games and Metal Gear, that's really about as Japanese as I get for video games.
Okay.
And this is like, in Final Fantasy always come off as like some weird anime RPG thing.
Yeah. Always like turn based. Everybody take the turn. Next in line. Okay, now you attack. Now you're gonna get whacked in the face. Okay.
And I mean, before I even start on the gameplay, has Final Fantasy always been so religious?
How do you mean? Like there's always
Well, I
been
mean,
the
Lightning, whose nickname Light is the savior, she's trying to save souls and the apocalypse. She's basically Jesus. You're Jesus with pink hair and a sword in this game,
um
and
I
that's
can
how it came off.
I can understand where you're going with, but I mean, like, if you ever watch that retrospective trailer, and I'll show that here in a little bit. Um, it's kind of like I get it, like the whole how you can make that comparison, but she doesn't really die. She actually just kind of like gets sent to another world for a while. Cause like how, if I understood right, it's like 13 starts off. You are Lightning and her friends trying to save their world, Cocoon, I think it is, and basically she ends up going to another place. So in like 13.2, they're not only trying to like rescue Cocoon, make another one. It's already messed up. I know from right already, but then it's like she goes to a new world. She goes like to Valhalla. That's actually what they named the place, Valhalla, and she becomes
Like a
like
different planet or alternate universe or
yes.
which one? It can't be both.
It's
Well, it
oh
could
my
be
god,
both, but
trust
which
me.
one?
If you like when I tried 13 and I won't go back to it. That is my torture right there. 13 too I tried in like the opening part of the game because it's like a scene but it's also playable at the same time. It's like Lightning is fighting this bad guy because every few centuries it seems like he's got to relive his horror of his one true love dying. And Lightning is apparently like God's right hand, and so she's kind of in charge of souls. So yeah, she's apparently in another dimension on a different planet, and also in a different time because 13.2 is all about
Mm.
going to different areas in time, and that's how they.
Are you trying to make this sound dumb, or is it just naturally
It's
dumb?
oh, I'm not kidding. Like
It sounds more convoluted than Metal Gear.
it is. I mean, 13. I just here's the thing. Okay, you ever heard the term Gestalt?
No.
It's like a psychological term kind of thing. If you Google it real quick, I don't know word for word. I don't want to sound stupid.
Yes, I know how to spell that,
Yeah.
so I can Google it easily.
Gesthal, I think, or LT. Yeah, LT at the end. Gestalt. It's a German word, I believe. I think it's old enough that like Freud came up with it. I'm pretty sure it's a psychological term, but Final Fantasy 13 has it, and that's how you beat espers. Like they're like ancient gods and demons. Like there's like Odin, but then there's also like Shiva. So there's like different gods, but they represent different elements. Because like Shiva is an ice goddess, and the thing is, you don't beat them like a boss.
What the hell are you talking about?
Dude, I kid you not. This is Final Fantasy 13. Okay, it's fucked
You're
up as
making
fuck.
up stuff.
You don't even beat the boss in order to like. It's really fucked up how to explain it. They're called espers, and the easiest way to think of they're demigods. Okay, They're demons, demigods kind of thing. So you can't beat them because they're immortal. But what you do is you fill up like the Gestalt bar. You do that, and then all of a sudden they kind of join you. They become your ally. So like Odin in the game, he's not only a knight, but he's also like a horse. So then when he's your ally, he's like a horse you can ride on for lightning. But again, you don't beat him.
All right, I don't want to hear
Yeah,
anymore
it
about this.
that's how fucked up this thing is. So Final Fantasy 13 and 13.2 is just fucked to begin with, and now it's just like you're this quote savior unquote, and now there's like chaos
Yeah.
and Snow is a bad guy, and you can do all sorts of things, and you wear new clothes, and
It just seemed the demo was short, but like just as an outsider looking in, it came off as like a very pseudo religious game.
yeah, I can perfectly see where you're going because here's always pretty much every single Final Fantasy game. I'm not kidding. Big bad demon or god is being summoned by somebody because they want the world to end or to rule the world. And that's about it. I mean, 4 it was about some guy bringing about like a demon or something like that. He awoke a great demon. 5 was I think a god or a really evil bad guy who was going to destroy the world. 6 was some guy trying to control magical spirits, so then turns himself into a god. 7 was about uh, a guy and his mom kind of thing and trying to destroy the world. It all ends up somebody is trying to destroy or rule the world in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's kind
Yeah, I
of
mean, what isn't that anime in general?
you
'Cause it seems like this is
not
very anime.
Attack on Titan.
It seems like it seems like it's not doing it on purpose, like Azura's Wrath was. It seems like it's just influence. It's not like spoofing it, but it seems like this is just directly tied
Oh
to
yeah, it's
anime
just
to
like
me.
yeah, this is our world. Our world's and like and like if I remember right for 13, it's just like yeah, this world cocoon. There's a different world. It's just crystallized now. Before it's about to ready to crash into another planet, and they froze it in crystal until they can make a new one.
Hmm.
Yeah, trust me. This is where I will never call Square Enix that. I call them Square or SquareSoft because to me, as soon as they became Square Enix, it, shit went out the window. I mean, they just started going downhill quick, fast, and in a hurry. Everything
Hmm.
just started getting way too weird. If it was still Enix, Enix made really good games back on the SNES, and no way in hell Enix is involved in these kind of decisions. They are. They're smoking crack. A lot of
As far other things involving like the presentation and not like the combat. We can talk about the combat in a minute, but the names are all weird. This is lightning, snow. Her the guy in the walkie-talkie or whatever is Hope.
Yep, he's Hope
So I,
Esterstein or something like that. Esterheim. Yeah, just call me Hope Lightning. Yeah. Um, no, no, you gotta understand. This is from the same.
and it's Cloud. Like they're just named after stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's like the writer just who wrote the story is like, what's around me? I look up, I saw a cloud. Okay, the
Well,
guy's name's Cloud.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta understand. This is from probably the same society. You know Naruto, right? That anime. I think Sasuke literally means ninja. So there's a character just named Ninja. I'm pretty sure because I remember I used to watch Ninja Warrior, and I'm pretty sure I kept on hearing Sasuke. I was like,
Hmm.
well, wait a minute. If Sasuke means ninja, then so this guy is a ninja named Ninja. And so yeah,
He was born to be a ninja.
I
It
guess
makes
so.
sense.
But yeah, so trust me, this is a long series of games that went from okay names like Edgar and Cecil and started going downhill with like Gao, Cyan, Cloud, Yuffie. You
Mhm.
know, it started going. It was up and down because then names are getting funny. And then it's like fuck it, it's an element, lightning, snow, but it's the same saga, Final Fantasy 13, which there's a black dude with an afro, and he's got like a mini chocobo in that afro. So he's got a fat
Hmm.
little chicken living in his afro. It's like what? Um, I'm I am confused right now. And I
Speaking of race, something I often wonder and was wondering with this, I was wondering about this particular and anime in general, but is are these characters supposed to be white or Asian?
both. Um,
Which one? Because like, isn't like lightning? Well, the ones I saw here, like in the demo, or isn't like lightning and snow and the rest of them white?
they appear to
Or are
be.
they supposed to be Asian?
But here, okay, here's the thing. If I remember right, did you ever hear the big thing about was it like ANA or something like that or something like that? It's anywhere Nippon Airport or Airways, something like that. They
No,
made a racist commercial in which like
no.
they two pilots or two executives for ANA, they are like talking to each other and they said, well, that's just how Japanese people are. Well, then maybe we should change the view of Japanese people in the world. And then all of a sudden cuts to one guy. He's got a blonde wig on and he's got a pointy nose prosthetic kind of on, but it's like you can see the string. So he's got a
Mhm.
pointy nose thing and blonde hair, and I guess a lot of people said that's racist because that's apparently the racist way Japanese people see Americans, or at least like Europeans. You know, their blonde hair, pointy noses. I kid you
Mm.
not. That's apparently that's considered an extremely racist commercial.
My thing is, I wonder. I wonder if they see themselves how they really look. 'Cause I don't know. I always thought it was this weird thing. Even when I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, if you they power up when they get blue eyes and blonde hair.
Okay, I found out why that happened. So okay, so back then the animation that's as good as they could do it. The blonde hair is actually supposed to be energy glowing through their hair.
I don't. Why can't it be like green hair and blue and
Well,
brown eyes?
because like green is like represented as evil. That's as far as color.
Green? When is green ever evil?
Well, you look way back. What was it? The knight with the green sash, like that, or something like that. There's an old story. It's like the Green Knight or something like that. And there's about a knight.
Well, my point is, it could be any color besides
Well, yeah, but I'm just
the
saying that's why certain
European
colors have
Aryan
to they mean a certain
look
way. It's been proven like why McDonald's is red and yellow. It's because those colors make you
because it
hungry.
gets your attention.
Well, no, it makes you hungry. You look at that and you want to eat.
That does not make me hungry.
Yeah, I kid you not. You
I
if you
think
look at red and yellow combined,
red is in so many logos because red gets your attention.
well, yeah.
That's why stop signs are
Well, it's
red.
also it's because it's a primary color. You know, that's why red, yellow, and blue you'll see quite often. Trust me,
Hmm.
there's a huge science all about colors. And it's like they're supposed to bring out certain emotions and they're supposed to make you think certain ways. That's why like Arby's is red. I think Dairy Queen's got
Well,
some red in it.
if blonde hair and blue eyes is supposed to be trusting, that doesn't even more worrisome
Well,
about
no, it's
the
not
about.
trusting. It's just like they have so much power in them. Their hair's glowing and their eyes are
They're
glowing.
so powerful they turn Aryan.
Apparently,
Yeah, that's a part. That's a problem.
that might have been the thing back then. I don't know. Like from what I understand, that's what they interpret as glowing. As like they went from black eyes and black hair to it's glowing, so they needed a glowing color, and they didn't want to be evil, so it was blue
There's a
eyes.
lot of glowing colors. Every color can glow, actually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, you don't see black going to pink. So, you know, and if it went white, they look old. So they went the next best thing, which is like a blonde.
Okay, sure. Let's rationalize this.
I kid you not. But we got way off track. What were we talking
Yeah.
about before? um,
I was just asking how they look, but it was
oh,
cool that Lightning is voiced by Liara from Mass Effect. So since I like Liara,
I have an ink.
did you play Mass Effect?
Yeah, but I mean, I was always like, it's
Okay,
good, but to me, it didn't leave a lasting impact on me. I didn't even play Mass Effect 3, to be
screw
honest.
it. But anyway, it's the main Asari blue chick is
First one or
Liara.
second one?
Well, she was in. She's barely in the second one,
Okay,
but
so it's
she's
in the
mainly in
first
the
one.
first.
That's where she made
Yeah.
her. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I can hear that. I just I wasn't a big fan of how like her to kind of get on Lightning's kind of design. I don't like her look. I mean, she went from kind of being badass and I think like wearing plate mail almost to now wearing a skin tight leather breastplate kind of thing that's kind of revealing in certain ways. Like, really? Really, guys? I
Well,
mean,
I'm kind of surprised she is so. I don't say boyish, but she's not very feminine.
oh, she's
Like
she's a
compared to
badass.
DOA.
Like that's why I kind of dig the name. She's a fucking badass. But it's like some things like I started messing around with different things like the Lancer outfit. It's pretty much like high heel or it's like thigh high boots and like a one piece bikini, but like an armor style. It's just like really guys, seriously. I mean, she went from wearing like kick ass armor to this. It's like why? It's like she started getting like almost skimpier and sleazier. She became more badass. It's
She
like
got older. She grew out of her old ways.
I guess I'd hate to see like her final form be like a string bikini and a thong. Apparently, behold my final form.
I
Oh
didn't think
God.
anything she wore was inappropriate, especially for a Japanese game.
Well, no, it was still yeah, it was toned down. I mean, it's not X Blades for God's sakes, but it's to me. I don't think they needed to go that route because some of the costumes they were a little hokey. Like the red mage was almost comedic, but
Yeah, I took her hat off for that. I was like, "You look
yeah.
too silly," but I like your ranged attack, so I'm gonna just take your hat off.
Yeah. What else? Like, I. Why did they? Because when you pre-order, if I thought right, you got the Final Fantasy X girls outfit. I think.
I thought it was Cloud.
See, now it's Cloud. But I could have sworn it's like they were gonna originally put her outfit in there. It's gonna be Final Fantasy X's outfit, in which it was what's her name? Oh, God, I can't remember her name, but it's the girl that
Probably water
what?
or fire or wind. I'm trying to think what her name would be according to this shit.
Oh no, this is 10. This is entirely different. But that was a weird thing. It's like, okay, so she now wears Cloud's outfit, can use his sword and everything like that. It's like, uh, why? I mean, if
It's
any,
just a goofy homage thing.
yeah,
What
but I
I
mean, why
got
not
from
do
it.
Final Fantasy VI? You had a badass female main character in that one, Terra. And it'd be really hard to design, but fuck, you got enough artwork out there for it. You know, I mean, there's a million female characters out there in the Final Fantasy games that you could have easily used, and they use a male character. It's like
Isn't Cloud the most popular character?
he's the easiest one to remember, yeah, but I mean, fuck, why not make it optional so you can also do Eris or Tifa and Sephiroth? Hell, give her a gun hand and let her be Barret. Put her in blackface for God's sakes. It it doesn't make any sense. Every time I see it, it almost seems like a joke. It makes me
I
flashback.
thought it was a joke.
It kind of feels that way. It honestly makes me flashback to Capcom when everybody was bitching and moaning about them putting Mega Man in a fighting game, and they find it SNK versus Capcom, or no, it's Street Fighter versus Capcom. And what do they give us? They don't give us Mega Man X. They don't give us normal Mega Man, Mega Man Zero. No, they gave us the guy on the original artwork or the box art for the original Mega Man, which is a blue and yellow fat guy holding a gun. It's like, did Capcom just troll us? It's like everybody thought this is fucking unreal. No, they're screwing with us. It's a complete joke, and then it is real. It's like, the fuck is this shit? Like, what are you thinking? It's like, okay, the whole thing is going back to Lightning. It's like, okay, she's a girl, she should be allowed whatever she fucking wants. Yeah, but she's wearing another character's outfit from another game, and it's a guy.
But I mean, really, looking at the character design for the men and female, they're so androgynous. It doesn't really matter. Like the Cloud could easily be a girl, and Lightning could easily be a boy.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. But I mean, why even bother making that a pre-order thing? Like, I kind of want to get the game, I do, but it's, and most oftentimes those kind of pre-order bonuses they last you, if you're lucky, half an hour to an hour, and then you found something even better, like a Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend has something like you got like what was it? The Tenacious D kind of axe, and that was actually pretty good until you bought like the next axe, and that could have been like a half hour later. It's like, oh, so the pre-order bonus is worthless now in every way, shape, or form. Awesome.
Mhm.
Thanks, guys. Really make it worthwhile for me to keep this thing that I paid early for.
So is the combat in this much different from
Oh
the
yeah.
other third, the other? 5, 13 games or the other Final Fantasy games?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones like this because I know all these standard ones are all turn-based. It's stand there, wait for the bar to fill up, pick an attack, and then pick your target, then attack, and then the enemy does the same thing. So it's me take a turn, I hit you, you take a turn, you hit me. This
Mm.
is actually really nice to be honest.
This is supposed to be their more action
Yeah.
take on it.
Oh yeah, this is a lot more fast-paced. That's one thing I can tell you right now. And I kind of like how it's only one character because then you're not having to deal with a bunch of different people. To me, it makes me think the story's gonna be extremely strong because you've only got Lightning and then people she interacts with. So there's gonna be a lot less confusion because like in 13, there were like 3 or 4 groups and it kept bouncing around. Like you play one group for about an hour or two, then switch to the other group for an hour or two, then back to another group, then back to it bounced all over the place. And this one, it's just Lightning. You are Lightning.
And
That's
her
it.
different outfits.
Yeah,
Her 3 outfits that affect her powers.
6. In
6?
the demo, there were 6.
Well, you only got 3 at a time, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you
Okay.
can make more and you can customize. I thought that was actually really cool how they did that. Um, and that was actually really smooth to be able to switch back and forth between all of them.
Hmm.
That was to me. I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna pre-order that just because for the longest time I was like, fuck SquareSoft. It's just to me gone downhill. I mean, ever since I'd say 11, ever since like 11, it just went in a a nosedive. It was just crashing down. But in
Yeah,
13,
I'm not a fan of this type of combat, but it didn't bother me. I wouldn't want to buy or rent this game and do that for tens of hours.
oh, I
But
would.
in this demo, in this demo, because I was actually thinking, I was like, if this, can we just make this with Devil May Cry gameplay?
Well, I mean, what's the
Like,
difference?
wouldn't
In
this
that
be
one,
way more
you're
awesome?
hitting a few more buttons and you're just constantly tapping them. This one, you can just hold a button. To me, that's just simple. It allows you to kind of.
No, I will. Well, when I say Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, Bayonetta, just can this be a hack and slash game? Like, do you really?
Isn't it kind
It,
of though?
no, it's not.
Well, think about it though. I mean, you kind of have to be active. You kind of have to be kind of because certain like you got
There's no countering. There's really no blocking.
yeah
I know
there is
there's guard. There's guard, but it's
yeah,
not
but
really
there's
the same
counter.
thing.
You didn't play around with the different outfits, did you? If there's a Lancer one, and it literally has an ability called Counter. And if it's on square. You hit square, someone attacks you. She literally teleports behind them, and it does like massive damage. So she takes like nothing, and she does like kind of like a dash through them kind of thing. It looks really cool, and it does huge damage against them.
Well, you know what I mean. This is not an act. This is not an actual like action or hack and slash game. So I mean, why not just take that extra step and make it that? And isn't the next gen one supposed to be more like that? Because like I remember
15.
watching a trailer during E3 with like the 2 or 3
Oh,
guys,
I
good
didn't sit
guys,
there
like
and watch that
fighting at
trailer to be
once.
honest. I have no idea. I mean, the one thing,
Okay.
if you make it too much like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, then you might be pushing away the casual market. This way, it's still slightly strategic because when you got to fight that big dragon thing, you can't just simply hack away at it. You actually had to do certain attacks in order to hit in the head for one of the ways to stagger it, so then you can keep on hitting away and actually do real
Hmm.
damage to it. If you just keep whacking away its legs, it's just gonna beat the living
I
crap
mean,
out of you.
hack and slash has strategy like that too.
Well, yeah.
It's not like you just hit X.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, where are we going with them? Because they both have similar strategies. They're just different.
One's way more fun than the other. One is like I don't know. It's like one is like you're an old person with a walker, and the other one you're a badass hero. It almost feels like playing. It's almost like comparing like Fallout to Gears of War, like the comparison you're trying to make, like that Fallout VAT system compared to actually shooting something.
I think I
Like, there's
know
a
what you're
pretty
going
big
with, but I
difference.
mean, at the same time, it's not like you can pause time in order to do the stuff like in Final Fantasy Lightning Returns or whatever. Yeah, Lightning Returns. Like you gotta
And why is
be.
it called that? Why is it called Lightning Returns than the actual
I
name of the
have
game?
no freaking clue because it's technically Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns, but because I think the other one is just Final Fantasy 13-2. I want to say I don't know, but again, this is Final Fantasy. This is where, if you ask me, they all should have different names after the original one. And the only reason the original one had Final in it was because the developer, designer, whatever, the lead one, this was his last chance. If this one did not do well, he would have had to go back to university and probably and would have went back in shame, which is like a huge deal. So for like him, this is his last chance. If he fucked up again and did like another mediocre game, he'd have to go back and start all
So it
over.
could have been called Final Hope
Pretty
almost.
much, yeah. So like it was his final. This is his fantasy of being a game designer. This is his final chance. So Final Fantasy.
Mm.
So
I mean, I was just thinking like if they made this with like Ninja Gaiden combat and like Mass Effect dialogue options, I would be completely on board. So make that game Square Enix, and then I think me and most other, people who aren't into like the Knights of the Old Republic and Final Fantasy and like this bullshit gameplay that isn't real gameplay, then we'll be on board. Because like what you said before, I think it'll make it more casual, and then the niche Final Fantasy people might not like it. But the thing is it's less it's more people who will want to play it than those niche Final Fantasy people. And I'm not saying take it. I'm saying maybe do a spin-off, franchise. I'm not saying take it away and keep it away from the main fan base, but you can do a spin-off. I know they had other spin-offs that failed, like the red cape guy with the gun
Vincent.
stuff. Oh, his name's Vincent. He's
Yep.
trying to copy me. The
Yeah. Oh yeah.
hell?
Well, that's the problem. I think
Why is his name?
he had like a
His name
third.
should be Cape. Going by this name scheme.
He had his own standalone. I think it was like a third person shooter, but I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I
considered
know
a
they tried to go
flop.
outside the box before. Yeah,
But I
just
think it's
get Ninja Theory to do it. Just get Square Enix just call it Ninja Theory, or even call Bioware,
not Team
and
Ninja.
then, huh?
Not Team Ninja. So then, like Lightning could be like running
No,
down the beach, Baywatch style.
no. I think judging by the last Ninja Gaiden, it seemed like everyone who's good at Team Ninja left, or at least the people in charge of Team Ninja now
Mm,
don't know what they're doing.
yeah. So what does that tell you about that kind of that game style, huh? People
No,
aren't.
they fired Itagaki for touching too many butts, and then stuff just went downhill. Look at Sony Santa Monica's doing fine. Team Ninja is on the Team Ninja. Ninja Theory is doing fine.
Yeah.
So don't blame it on hack and slash.
Okay. No, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the way that would probably be more of an American market with that kind of game, but they gotta play to their strengths, and Final Fantasy is kind of like Dragon Quest. It's heavily Japanese, so they gotta go with their fans. Apparently,
Eh.
hence why we're up to 13, even though this is technically shit. I don't know how many actual Final Fantasy games there are. They've done sequels to other games because like Final Fantasy IV that got like a sequel or two, I think, and then there's stuff like Tactics, and there's too damn many.
Yeah. So any other thoughts on this on Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, slash to the moon 13.3.58? Any other thoughts on this shit?
I think it's actually pretty good in all honesty. Trust me, if you tried 13, and I'm still haunted by people actually saying, you got to play it, just play it for 20 hours, and it gets good. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have.
didn't think this was bad. I just thought this wasn't.
No, no,
I
I
can tell
got
when
you.
something is bad, and I can tell when something just isn't for me.
No, no,
And
yeah,
for
I
this, it was just wasn't
I
for
got
me.
you. No, no, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying it's like, I completely agree with you. This is gonna be for everybody, but I mean, trust me. I'm also talking to people listening. The Final Fantasy 13 to me is my torture. I mean, if I ever lost a bet, easy way for you is like you got to play Final Fantasy 13 for a day straight. Like, fuck you. Oh my god. Because that game is completely
I heard
free.
that about Fallout 3 a lot too, but I couldn't get
I
into
don't see
Fallout.
that though. Like for because here Fallout 3, you can't say just play it for 20 hours and it gets good. That was the thing.
But I already played for 10 hours and then it gets really good, and I was
No,
like, yeah,
see,
I don't want
it
to
was
do
fun
that.
for me. As soon as you left the vault, it's like boom. Where do you want to go? Just go. You just
It
go.
wasn't fun for me at all. I probably played like 6 7 hours. I was like, this isn't working.
Oh yeah. But anyways, like this one is just it looks like they kind of looked at it and like, okay, this one kind of sucked. This one's a little bit better. How can we make it new, refreshing, better, for the new market, new players, but the old players as well. This one to me is fast paced. Considering it's a Final Fantasy game, I was like, wow, I actually have to be awake and aware of what's going on, not just oh, it's a fire demon. Okay, ice spells. Okay, cast ice spell. And, sleep the rest of the way. I kid you not, I would play
Mhm.
some Final Fantasy games when I had the flu because it was the perfect game to play when you had the flu. You can just sit there and zone out. So, this game, yeah, no, that does not apply. I'm honestly surprised it's even called Final Fantasy. So, me, it gets a thumbs up. I want to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if someone's into that type of game, definitely try it out. Try out the demo and take it from there.
Oh, yeah, it's free, so give it a shot. What do you got to lose?
Yeah. And we had a couple trailers to talk about.
Yep.
You said you haven't played any of the Wolf Among Us, right?
I played the first one. I've not beaten it though.
Oh, okay.
So
The trailer for episode 2 came out yesterday or the day before? It came out recently, and
this
then the
one
game comes out next week.
says the 30th. So Telltale Games YouTube site says today.
Oh, okay.
So um,
So yeah, pretty much a week before the game comes out, they let you know.
I think so. It doesn't. I can't remember if it has a release date on the end of it. But
It is coming soon in the trailer,
yeah,
but
I'd
Telltale has said other places that it'll be the first week of February.
because I think that usually takes a few months because the first one came out October,
October.
September.
Yeah.
Was it October?
October.
So I would
Yep.
bet, yeah, next one might be a pretty good bet. I'd say March, because usually like every 4 or 5 months or so, something like that, then a new episode comes out. I mean, they're like how
Mhm.
Blizzard used to be. They actually give a crap. It's quality. They make sure the character models during cutscenes not going, not having a seizure.
I mean that type of release date schedules actually made me not want to play their games though. It's not that I liked episode 1 and it had such a huge cliffhanger that I'm kind of dying to play episode 2, but at this point I just figure I'll wait until this and The Walking Dead season 2 have finished and then I'll just marathon it cuz I don't want to wait 3 4 months in between. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
No, I got you. But I mean, it's for the people that it even kind of tells you this is from comic books. This is DC or Vertigo, whatever. So it's Vertigo's owned by DC. But anyways, it's for the people who are like me. We got no problem waiting a month for the next issue for our
Mhm.
favorite comic book coming out. So this way we get a sample now and just wait a little while and then get the next bit rather than wait for a year or two in order to get the graphic novel. We just got to wait a month for the next little bit, and it's kind of cheaper that way because once it's all lumped together, it probably won't be $60, but I bet the entire thing will be. I'd say 50 might be a pretty good bet with all the episodes on there full
I'm
price.
pretty sure I bought The Walking Dead season 1 for like 20 bucks, $25 right after it had finished.
That sounds about right, actually. Yeah. See, that's the thing with Telltale. Sometimes it's kind of hard to judge. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, if this was monthly, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it being, well, I just finished this episode. Maybe 3 months, maybe 5 months. I can play the next, 3 hours like that. It is it. Every 2 months on the 15th we will have an episode. Then I would be down for it.
right.
Or every 15th we had an episode. Then okay, cool. There's like a monthly. It's almost like a monthly TV show at that point.
Well, yeah, but I
But
mean, the one thing I
they
kind
don't
of
have it
look at
nailed
it.
down yet.
I mean, the one thing you gotta kind of look at though is, it's not a straight, streamlined kind of game. You've got to play different ways. So like, do you go up and punch this guy? A lot of people, like even myself, I was like, what happens like during the first fight scene against the woodsman? What happens if he pops you in the jaw? What happens if you don't uh, do the right button at the right time? What happens? And I know that's
Yeah,
like certain
yeah.
achievements are going to be that way. So the story is supposed to change in minor ways. It even tells you kind of like The Walking Dead. Toad's going to remember you said that, or Toad's going to remember you did that. So it's going to change the story a little bit. So it's kind of like one of those things. Does the knight go in the cave, go to page 200, or does he go down the road to the forest, go to page 250?
Yeah, but I mean the thing, maybe they should copy TV a little bit more, and like have the first two episodes done, and then as people are digesting the first two episodes, be working on the other three instead of just doing episode one, then releasing it, then working on episode two. Like you know what I'm saying? Because like if it's 13 episodes in a season, they're probably done by 7 or 8 episodes by the time episode one premieres on for a TV show.
Yeah, I've got you.
They're not gonna say, "Yo, we finished episode one. Here, let's put it on TV," and then 2 months later, you'll get episode two. Like you gotta have some, cashed away.
True. Yeah, I'll give you that. But I mean, like I said, it's just like you can only watch a TV show episode, once or twice, and then it's like, all right, I got it pretty much memorized. This one, it's a little bit different. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I mean, it's just there's so many different pathways you can take, and it's always going to change a little bit. It's kind of like the Stanley Parable. You know, your choices dictate the story. So it's kind of like if I don't the Walking Dead TV show. If all of a sudden they had like interactive choices, and all of a sudden you had season 4A, season 4B, season 4C, D, E, it goes down like that. So then,
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's probably in some ways, a lot of ways, harder to make the game. But I mean, it's not like making the TV shows easy either. Since they have to get like a tank to blow up a wall in real life, or to at least do the CG for it. So I mean, it is. I'm not obviously making a A to A comparison. It is
mm,
apples to oranges. But I'm just saying, it's maybe they can to streamline the process a little bit. Maybe they should look at TV more.
right.
And them having so many projects coming too is another like I wish you guys would completely finish the two series you have going now before you do Game of Thrones and Borderlands,
Mm,
because them juggling possibly four at a time seems crazy. But do you not feel that way?
I was kind of adjusting the volume a little bit while the trailer's kind of going. Um, yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming with, but I mean, like I said before, they're like how Blizzard used to be. They make it specific and they make it detailed and they do it without mess ups. You're not gonna see, to me, a bad Telltale game doesn't really exist because they're very anal with their games. They gotta make sure there's no bugs, no glitches. They are, they're not easily found. They're not game breaking, things like that. Um,
Did you play their games before The Walking Dead
oh
though?
yeah, oh yeah. I
Okay,
never,
because
I
the thing is, I always heard they were pretty mediocre before The
Oh
Walking
no
Dead.
no 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 no! Like I love their I was Homestar Runner, but the Strong Bad's what's it called? Strong Bad's Awesome Game for Cool People, something like that. That was hilarious. I mean, that's the thing. Telltale games, they know characters, they know writing really well. I mean, those games back then, they're just simple, point and click like King's Quest and Myst and all that kind of stuff. So they're very simple in that regard, but the characters and stories are really well done. I mean, it just felt like I was actually playing, controlling an actual like week of Homestar Runner. So to me, this is hilarious. I love Homestar Runner. I thought it was hilarious back way back then. So and I got to do it. And I remember the first one I got a chance to try out was 8-Bit is Enough, which is all video game humor, and I was like, this is hilarious. I mean, this is really good. They got down pat. I mean, they're making obvious jokes, but they're also making kind of hard to understand jokes, but they're still, even if you don't know what's going on, it's still funny to you. But then for the people who get it, they get a little chuckle out of it, a little extra chuckle, I should say. So I mean, yeah, they're not mediocre by far. I mean, the Monkey Island games, I heard they were pretty good. Like I said, Strong Bad's game, that was pretty good. What else do they do? Um, there's
Did they
another.
do Back to the Future?
Yeah, Back to the Future. That was a good one. My fiance is actually a personal fan of it. She really loves it, and I've actually been watching her play every now and then, and it's actually pretty well done. I mean, they do a lot of bouncing around and a lot of different things, like how Doc Brown actually kind of becomes kind of a bad guy, and he ends up kind of helping out this love of his life from when he was younger. They basically become kind of like dictators in a way. She's like the face and the boss of everything, and he's just kind of like the one making technology so she can say everything is clean and pure and Christian. And if you don't like it, then you go to jail instantly. And when you go to jail, we'll slap this collar on you. So no matter what, you have to think this way. So I mean, it's really like they do story, they do characters really well. I mean, that's kind of like they like their art style, because the art style, it works, it's okay. It's not phenomenal, but that leaves up room for, stories and characters to actually develop, and pretty good voiceover work, and
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been curious how they'll handle Game of Thrones. I do hope not all four of these series have the same look. Like I do hope it doesn't have to be, uber realistic, but I don't want Game of Thrones to look the exact same as The Walking Dead or the exact
Oh no,
same
no.
as,
Well,
The Wolf Among Us.
it may kind of, but the problem is, technically the Walking Dead game, I think is supposed to be closer to the comic book than the TV show. So that's the
Yeah.
problem. The last two games they've done have been rooted in comic books, so they have to kind of keep a comic book art style. So,
Hmm.
and I can't think they got a head start on that with Back to the Future. That kind of has a comic book look to it, not really cell shaded, but it looks kind of like, it's kind of hard to describe. It's like 3D models that could be cell shaded easily.
Hmm.
So they could do a comic book look, but I think if they what practice they've got, they could kind of remove it from being rooted in comic books. So then it actually be more realistic. It'd be more like more like a book coming to life rather than comic book pages coming to life.
Yeah. As long as it's like a bit of a difference. Like
Yeah. Oh, it
I
will be.
doesn't want it because the only thing I would say about the Wolf Among Us is it sometimes feels like just a reskinned Walking Dead as far as the mechanics and the look.
In a way,
Like it's just that
yeah.
they just like took out zombies and they put in Once Upon a Time. So even though the Fables comic is before Once Upon a Time, but whatever.
No, yeah, I got you. I mean, I definitely see like a lot of similarities, because like you have to manually aim to shoot the gun certain times in Walking Dead and things like that, and you actually have to, when you're about to punch a guy, you gotta line up the mouse cursor over the spot and click the button, things like that. But I mean, the thing of it all is that's just the mechanic to get the story across and allow the character to proceed in that manner you want them to. So that's where the problem's going to be, is how are they going to end up doing it so that the character and the story progresses, but it's actually gonna be
Mm. And
playable.
and that a sword fight in Game of Thrones won't be the same as Bigsby beating up a guy.
Exactly, because it's gonna be like, if you want to win, you still gotta use some skill, but you probably will the option to, you can mess up, or if you want to, you can just manually, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and mess up here because I want to know what happens in the story now if I do it in this way.
Hmm. But there was one other trailer which was the cinematic Arrival trailer for Elder Scrolls Online, which is a game you love, right?
Uh, okay, I'm gonna try and
Well,
do
let's
this.
talk about the trailer first,
Okay,
actually,
okay.
before you shit on the game. The trailer was good. The trailer was done by Blur, which kind of does all the major CG for video games and some
Yeah,
movies.
they do pretty stuff.
Yeah, they did some stuff for Mass Effect,
League of
League of
Legends.
Legends. I think they did some stuff for Avatar too.
Really?
So yeah, they're pretty much the big dogs in
Avatar
that
Blue
world,
People
and
or Avatar Last Airbender?
the mediocre Avatar, the blue
Blue
people,
People. Okay.
not the not the good cartoon.
Okay. Well, careful when you say good cartoon because a lot of people might think of the movie, which was absolute shit.
No, good cartoon series, not the
Yeah. Okay. I
M
got you.
Night Shyamalan bullshit. But
Shyamalan
yeah,
Ding Dong.
the yeah, I wish someone would make a movie like for that. They actually did the Injustice CG thing too. And I remember when I was watching the Injustice like opening cinematic thing where was that Injustice or was that am I thinking the DC universe? Where did you watch it where like Lex basically kills everyone and then he has like this weird looking sex toy kryptonite thing. He stabs Superman in the gut with it, and then he goes to the Justice League and asks for their help when Brainiac
Does he have
comes.
a glowing orange eye and he's talking to Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's DC Universe Online because then all of a sudden like it looks like
Okay.
little explosions go across the Earth and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
that's
That's that
DCUO.
one. That's not
Oh
Injustice.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that was a really good one. I remember
yeah.
when I was watching, that, I was like, man, that would be a really
Oh man,
good movie. And yeah, and watching this, I was like, this would be a really good movie. But the thing is, is hard. That's expensive to do, and who would go see it? Since stuff like Beowulf and the Final Fantasy CG movies didn't do well box
really?
office wise. So yeah,
Well, like Beowulf, I have a hard time understanding. But here's my thing: Fantasy, you're talking spirits within, right? That's the one where it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But didn't that almost bankrupt or
That was
them?
bullshit. I don't understand why people didn't like it. It's like here's my the only reason why I think is because it has Final Fantasy name. Here's why I tell every single person think they're like, oh, I've heard it's bad. Just take out Final Fantasy. Literally take a knife to your DVD case and scratch out Final Fantasy. It's spirits
I
within.
don't remember it right now. I
It's
don't
not that
remember.
bad. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's about like how alien ghosts are out there and how the planet kind of has like an actual spirit and the alien ghosts are kind of like energy beings, and that's how we kind of fight them is using like energy guns and shit like that. And it's
Was it convoluted like Final Fantasy?
a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't that hard to follow. It's spirits make up energy, Ghostbusters. There you go. Just it's Ghostbusters. Gotcha. So, if they can match energy or figure out the frequency of the energy, they can make an opposite one. So when you make one energy and you have the opposite energy, you collide them, they negate each other. So then the two energies just stop. So that's how they fight the alien ghosts because they.
I thought energy couldn't stop.
No, no, no. Okay.
Cannot be created nor destroyed.
Well, no. If you
Because
have
that
the
guy
exact
says.
opposite of it, it's kind of like matter and antimatter. And when antimatter and matter meet, they just kind of end each other. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
happens. It's just like it doesn't. That's why if I think that's how it goes. I'm not a physics kind of guy and nothing like that. And don't look for any doctorates under my name. But if I understand right, it's some.
Everything you say is fact and true.
Oh, thank you. Um, so gingers rule the world. There we go. Now that's fact.
Oh no.
Anyways, um, so yeah, the whole thing is basically differing energies cancel each other out. So there's that. So when you shoot a ghost that has alpha wave energy, and you have alpha anti alpha wave energy, and you shoot it at it, then
I like how you go into the science
well,
of this
I'm trying to
movie
keep it
from
simple. So
15 years ago.
yeah, I'm trying to keep it simple so like people can go, what is he talking about? Um, you know, Anti and non-anti, they meet each other. They're obviously opposite, so they just kind of cancel each other out. That's how it works. So that they make giant barrier shields that are the anti-energy of ghosts, so the ghosts can't get in that way. But the whole thing at all is it's just them trying to get rid of the ghosts. So it's
I vaguely remember. I just vaguely remember like why does it have this weird horror vibe to it, and where's the um androgynous characters with huge swords?
yeah, that exactly. That it was not Final Fantasy. There's no clouds, there's no Terras, there's no Sephiroths, nothing. Um,
Yeah.
this was something that was not Final Fantasy at all. That's why I tell every single person, like, I heard it wasn't that good a movie. No, you heard it was a bad Final Fantasy movie. Just take out Final Fantasy. The movie's called Spirits Within. Done. Moving on. And to me, it was
Mm.
good. I like watching it. I thought it had really good voiceover work. I mean, you had some pretty good names on there. I like the CGI. Even to this day, it still looks pretty darn good. The story was pretty darn well. There's good amount of action to it. A little bit of horror because there's like ghosts, but I mean, it went from being like horror to like action survival kind of thing, and all of a sudden there's like giant laser cannons stuff like that. Here's the thing: Pacific Rim that did crap in America, but that's because people decided to go watch Grown Ups 2 for a dumbass reason. Um,
Well, it didn't do crap. It just
it
didn't
did
do
it did crap
super
in
well.
America.
Well, I mean, it did okay.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to the Grown
I
Ups
think
2,
it did what 60 or
it
80
was like
million.
80, and it's still like
Yeah,
I think that alone kind of broke even, or it kind of meant profit. It actually was kind of low cost relatively, but did amazing outside the states. And it's for some
yeah.
reason I don't know why, but people are like, "Oh, Grown Ups 2, we got to watch that." But anyways, um, Pacific Rim was thought to be kind of cool. It was an action movie. It's a sci-fi action movie. It's aliens, it's Predator, it's God, what else could it be? It's not these are not intense story-wise movies. You don't watch RoboCop to be enlightened in any way and think, you're going to be riveted and inspired to write a novel. You watch RoboCop to see him stab a guy in the neck and rip out that
How
spike
did
thing.
we get on RoboCop?
Well, I'm just saying, that's what this was. Any movies, sci-fi action movies. So Spirits
Yeah.
Within, RoboCop, Aliens, Pacific Rim. You don't watch them for the story. The story is either crap or almost non-existent. It's
Mm.
very
I,
simple. There's a bad guy, kill bad guy, done. It's all about,
I love how we went from Elder Scrolls to online to RoboCop in like 2 minutes.
hey, yeah, that's how I work. Well, we were talking
But
about
yeah,
the trailer and how it looks
yeah,
good.
this is a
How
cool trailer.
Yeah, because the trailer does look good, and I think Blur will eventually make they should make something along the lines of a movie or some sort of maybe episodic show, something like that. I would think with their skills they could do it, and it would do really
Yeah, I mean, give them like the Heavenly Sword movie. That would be
yeah.
interesting to see.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Give them the World of Warcraft one. I'd watch that just because how pretty it look.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be mainstream enough. But
Uh,
yeah,
that's the problem. It's just like here they're just now getting a start. I think they're just now becoming a name, and that's the problem. I think they need somebody like what would be a good
but I don't. I would say I don't think CG movies in general are mainstream enough. Not like Blur itself,
yeah.
because there's never really been a CG movie in America that's done well. There's not a family, not like despicable, not kind of like Despicable Me or anything. There's kind of a serious or action driven thing. I mean, the closest thing is what The Incredibles,
Yeah, that was still
but it's
that was
still
family
Pixar and
friendly.
it's still family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of anything because we already brought Pacific Rim. That was always just kind of meh. Um,
and it's live action. So
well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, there's a whole bunch of CGI or if not CGI,
yeah, but I'm talking about CG movie like CG, like an actual
100%
like
CG. Okay.
animated movie. Yeah, like Beowulf.
Oh, yeah. I have no clue there. That did well and was considered done well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm kind of drawing a blank in all honesty. But yeah, like I'm showing actually for a second time here, so people can see what I mean. You can almost like just watch it muted. It's kind of like a Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera music video. Just mute it. It's pretty. Watch it
Um,
move.
is Britney Spears pretty? But anyway,
Back in the day, hit me baby one more time, Britney Spears. That era.
okay, not shaved head yelling at you.
No, not married to a backup dancer, Britney. No,
But I mean, so you actually played the game in what the beta,
Yes.
and
Okay.
how did you like it?
I hated it. I'm pretty sure it was Forbes. I'm gonna stick with the same Forbes, and Forbes already said, and I 100% agree with it, that this is the worst thing in 2014, and it's not even out. It's not even open beta. This is Here's the problem. If anybody's wondering why I'm trying to tiptoe around it, it's because there's an NDA on it, so I can't talk about the game directly. Um, I'm gonna do this as my opinions and feelings on it. So here's the thing. It sucks. It is not an Elder Scrolls game at all. You ask anybody who's played it and ask them what it feels like. It feels like a cookie cutter MMO. Done. Period. End of story. It does not feel like Elder Scrolls at all. If you like Skyrim, you will not like online. You know, I've played since Morrowind. I kind of want to find Daggerfall cheap and try that out because I've heard like it's got a huge world and there's a lot of stuff. It's old, but still, I've heard it's actually still a pretty good game even to this day. And I get a feeling this could almost cripple the Elder Scrolls series because once you go MMO, it's kind of hard to not be MMO.
hmm I mean, we were talking a little bit before the show, and you were saying you thought that what was it, the Conan MMO was
Yeah,
better.
Hyborian Adventures. That was more
Is
fun because that actually had
this is
combat.
better? It's better than Hellgate London, though, right?
I never tried Hellgate London,
Okay.
so I can't voice my opinion on that one. Like I said, this one's just there's no flash. There's nothing in its core makes it good and worthwhile. Like, okay, you brought Conan. Conan, at least the combat with that was active. It made you stay awake. You had to be alert. You're constantly hitting different buttons to attack in different ways and defend from different sides. Stuff like that. This game doesn't
hmm
have that. It's just cookie cutter. I still play EverQuest with my buddies every now and then. I don't play it freely. It's just because my buddies still play EverQuest. So I'll play that over Elder Scrolls any day of the week, or Elder Scrolls Online any day of the week. Um,
hmm
I
So, do you think they maybe should have gone in more of a Destiny or Division or like Borderlands type way? Just maybe have like not Skyrim exactly, but Skyrim type game, and it's
where
you
I
and
actually
your
have to be
six
awake in order to play the game.
friends.
Yeah, I would like to be able, actually play a game, not fall asleep when I'm doing it. I would like something where I'm actually doing something with the community. That's another thing. It's just you will not. Okay, there is nothing in the Elder Scrolls Online as it stands that is community friendly. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
because I've got to be careful what I say because I don't want me. I'm the kind of guy if I piss someone off, I'll piss you off. I really don't care, but I mean I don't want to be sued just because I've made the people know how shitty your game is. Forbes already pointed that out. Um, but what? Okay, I know an easy way around this. Okay, there was an article I read from a guy. Um, it had to be like Games Radar, uh, rock paper shotgun, one of those kind of sites. And the way he said it was, and this is I 100% agree. Whenever you would do a quest, and all they are is kill quests and fetch quests, you simply wait for the person ahead of you. You pretty much stand in line almost for him to kill the monster you need to kill, and then you wait for that monster to respawn. There's nothing like in Rift. It will automatically offer to put you in a group. If like a plane a rift, that's what they're called, if a rift opens up in which you can just automatically click a button and boom, you're automatically added to a group, so then you're all fighting this one rift, and then you leave when you want to. It's just like so rather than target a person, add to group kind of thing, or invite to group or whatever. There's none of that. It's just simply, would you like to join a group? Click, and just randomly starts adding a bunch of people to your group. Very simple, very easy. This one, nothing. It's literally standing in line like I'm at the DMV, but for a quest to
But
kill.
could that be a beta thing, or do you
I
think that's in
don't
the
believe
final game?
so. I mean, why even make that available to the public then? Even if it's closed alpha, or closed beta. See, that's the thing. It's actually, yeah, it's closed beta. If this is alpha, I'd understand. But even then, it's just like, I don't know. It's still rough. So, I mean, I thought it's supposed to have a 2014 release, and here's what I mean by rough. Some of the voiceover work is like computer generated, not a real person.
Hmm.
So it doesn't talk smoothly. It doesn't go in a nice streamline like this. It will jump up and down like this.
So it sounds like Siri.
Yes. So it's like a bunch of
Oh.
words, and someone just put those words in order, and then it just says the words how they are fed into the computer.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's
isn't it kind of weird they would make an MMO anyway? Like, isn't that something like Blizzard and
yes.
a few other companies have on lock?
Well, here's the
And
reason
I
why.
was,
Because money.
mm,
That's what it
but
comes down to. They want money. They know World of Warcraft, millions of dollars every month. They want that. Otherwise, they would just make Elder Scrolls 6.
basically they would be able to look at all the MMOs that failed the last 5 or 6 years, and it seems like they will at least try to correct their mistakes that the failed ones did, but it didn't seem like they pay any
No.
attention to them.
Otherwise, this is
And
what
this
it's
is
going.
pay per month, right?
Oh
This
yeah,
is subscription
yeah. So
based.
you got to pay
Because
the like $60 or whatever to buy the game, plus $15 a month, or however much you pay. Because I can know there's probably like the 3 months and the 6 months and probably a year. Um, but even then, it's just like here's the thing: WildStar is coming out this year. WildStar comes out, Elder Scrolls Online is done. I, there's instant killer of Elder Scrolls Online instantly. Um, hell,
is WoW not the killer?
WoW's dying. Finally, thank God. Slowly but surely, they're poisoned. Um, but then you got EverQuest next. That will be the big. If they're not Peter Molyneux on themselves, that will be the next big MMO for like a decade or so.
Hmm.
But that's if they stick with what they're saying. I mean, what all they're offering to the people. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, you know,
Is this in-house Bethesda or did this kind of get outsourced?
I saw. Look at the trailer now. I see. Yeah, ZeniMax Online and Bethesda. ZeniMax Media Inc. Online developed by ZeniMax Online Studios. Do. I see nothing else in the ways of other developers and or publishers or whatever or other companies. It's just ZeniMax and Bethesda. That's it.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, like I was kind of saying before, it seems like it would have been more interesting if they went into a Borderlands Destiny type of way, or actually what Fable Legends sounds like it's trying to do. It's kind of doing that in a traditional RPG setting. I think that would have been more interesting. Than I mean, you obviously wouldn't get the millions and millions that WoW does, but you can have a lot of DLC in it. If you have it somewhat episodic.
Yeah, well, my other thing is when you go online, where do you go from there? When you go from MMORPG, Final Fantasy can do it because none of the Final Fantasies, unless they're a direct sequel, can from like Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're all entirely different worlds. They're supposedly loosely tied together, but I mean they are not really sequels to each other. So they can do that. They can get away with it. They've been getting away with it for decades. But
Hmm.
all the Elder Scrolls game, they're all stuck in the same area. So if online screws up, what's going to happen to the Elder Scrolls 6? It's kind of like World of Warcraft's already gone so far. What's going to happen if they ever want to do? And I wouldn't mind if they do, but World of Warcraft 4 or Warcraft 4. You know,
Hmm.
I
But
don't.
is this in the past though, or is this in the present?
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
I think it's right after Skyrim. I'm guessing. I
Or
don't
maybe
know.
the next Elder Scrolls is hundreds of years later, so it
Is it?
doesn't matter. I mean, it seems like it'd be an easy way to get around that.
Well, I mean, still though. I mean, it's like how do you jump from one genre to the next and still stay in that same area and not have an influence on the story?
I don't think anyone cares. I think those are two different markets. I'm sure there's overlap, but it's like someone like me who wants to play this Elder Scrolls but couldn't care less about MMOs, I wouldn't think twice about what. So how does this align with the MMO story? Like I don't. I think very few people would think that.
Well, no, because what I mean is like okay, we talked about earlier Star Wars, the Old Republic. They actually
Mhm.
included some of the characters from Knights of the Old Republic. Like there was that bounty hunter robot, the HK 686 or something like that, and he was actually somebody who could be on your ship as like an ally. That's what I kind of mean. It's like, if you've got Skyrim and Oblivion, they're in the same world. They should at least share some sort of time with the story, because it's all about the Elder Scrolls. That's what all comes down to. Like the Elder Scrolls tells you certain events that are gonna happen down the road. Like supposedly, like you can read the Elder Scrolls and know what the next 10 games are going to be because they've already been foretold. Nostradamus or whoever came down and wrote everything down that will ever happen in the history of this land. It just hasn't happened yet, but read the scrolls. Oh, okay, so let's see. Elder Scrolls 6 says we're going to have laser guns. All right. You know, but it's like where do you go from here? Like how I don't see why they couldn't have done something like you said, like how are they doing it with Fable Legends? Like what's that going to be like?
Um, it actually sounds a lot like that game you were into last year. That PlayStation Network game. I forgot the name. Like
Oh,
Dragon's Crown.
oh yeah, Dragon's Crown. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's kind of like that in the Fable world. Like it's like four players going through the world, um, and it's going from the trailer like it'll be different roles, like the traditional RPG roles, like the mage, just the warrior, and so on.
so you make your own
But
character, and then you can, when you want to, team up with other players.
yeah, I mean this is more or less what I got from the trailer and what they said so far.
Okay.
It's almost almost like the Borderlands Left 4 Dead
Yeah,
teamwork
where it's
angle
not
in
an
the Fable
MMO, it's just
worlds.
an online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that I would like, in all honesty, that would, where you can play with a bunch of different players, and like that's the whole connection. It's like you were okay. I can't talk about the story. Where you all meet up in the start of the story, that's how you're all connected. Is because you've all been there, so you all share that connection. So then that
Hmm.
allows you to go to other players and meet up with them. Go to their lands, their kingdoms, their worlds in a way. So I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, if it was smaller, you can still play the game solo, but at any time you want, you and your friends, or you and some people you met online, or whatever, or just random people you just queued up in line for, you can all join up and take on harder bosses and stuff. That I would like. That would be really
Yeah.
great. That would change the game entirely for me.
I think that would be big with next gen, just like
Oh yeah.
single player experiences, but open worlds. Like I said, with like Destiny and Division and Fable Legends type games.
I think that make more sense too because to me, the Elder Scrolls has never been about being a part of a giant army versus another giant army. You've always been an influential
Yeah,
character. You've always been
you've been the
important.
one in at least the last two.
Yeah.
You've been like the one.
Well, I think all three, you've been a very, very important guy. I mean, you start off as nothing, and then you pretty much become like a demigod, or like in pretty much the eyes of people, you are a demigod. So
Is there for? I'm not sure how much you got into the PC version, but is there any co-op mods for Skyrim that you know off the top of your
co-op
head?
mods.
Because that would be really fun, like just co-op in
I
Skyrim. Because the funnest thing to me was running around the world.
I don't know about co-op mods. I wouldn't say no, but then again, you got to take an example. Where would the servers be used and where would they be placed? It had to be like the modder or like a group of modders kind of thing would have to own the servers kind of thing. So it'd be small if there is one, because it wouldn't be run through Bethesda or anything like that. There wouldn't be any
Yeah.
Skyrim servers.
I would actually pay for that for like I'd rather pay $10 a month for that than this MMO.
I I completely agree with you. I would love to see Skyrim 2, and it's just like a few years down the road, and it turns out there's a few dragons you missed, but now there's other dragonborn out there. There's a dimension hole open up, and it turns out there's other worlds with other dragons and other dragonborn, whatever. And it just turns out it's just it's co-op Skyrim. There you go. That's it. That I would
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. I'm willing. BioWare, EA wish they didn't waste all that money on Star Wars.
Ugh. I would rather play the Old Republic than Elder Scrolls Online in a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
but that didn't turn out to be the like success that they wanted it to be.
Because they're so badly designed and coded. I mean, the one thing I will never forget about um, the Old Republic was there was a bug, and which is I saw it on Dorkly, I think, and this guy was tanking a boss, and the way he was tanking it was by dancing. What had happened was the boss glitched whenever you were dancing, and he would try and target you instead of actually attacking you. He kind of like you'd see as like he'd almost had like a seizure. He's just trying to go back to his default "there's no one around" stance, but then he's targeting
Mhm.
you, so he's back and forth between targeting you and there's no one in front of me. So he never actually attacked. The guy just completely just kept on dancing away, and he never lost aggro, nothing. He just kept on dancing away from this boss, and it was the easiest fight ever. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like this is a boss in a dungeon kind of setup, and you can beat it by dancing. I was like, "Wow, no wonder your game did crap." I mean, it did. A lot of people hate it. That's why it's free to play now. And even then, it's like a really shitty way of doing free to play. It's like you're extremely limited, and they almost force you to pay in some regards.
Mhm. Wow. Um, before we jump to the Sony and Microsoft stuff, is there anything else you wanted to add to MMOs?
Um, Hold on.
What's the best one they could play right now? If anyone heard this and wants to like jump into a good one.
I haven't really played one in a while. I've been playing more like Crisis and League of Legends. That's my online games nowadays. I just don't. I would love to be able to sit down and play MMOs, but at the same time, I just don't have the time, energy, and effort in order to commit hours upon hours into those kind of games. Um,
Mhm.
because my thing is, WildStar sounds really good, and EverQuest Next sounds amazing. That actually sounds too good to be true, to be honest. Um, if I had to pick one, I guess
Defiance.
Rift. I
Uh,
mean, that's the only one I'm really aware of. It's not bad at all. I mean, you can kind of make your own character. It's fun. It's pretty easy. I mean, you can almost do whatever you want. You don't have to do dungeons like you do in most games. You can just constantly just be doing planar rifts, which are like random spawn events. There are like massive demon monsters things pop up, and you and a random group of people have to destroy in order to close the rift. Otherwise, they'll keep spawning little army groups that will literally try to take over the land. I'm not kidding. They will actually take over little spots, and like until you take it
Hmm.
back, it's under enemy control, and they're like small towns and outposts. So it's a big deal in order to shut down the rifts. And like I said, you can kind of make your own character that way. So that's me. I'm not a big MMO player because usually, you know, I don't play with a lot of people that are either they're too strict. It's like, okay, today we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this one game or this one dungeon, which we're gonna go into next Sunday. Can't we go in today? No, because this other group or this other clan or guild or whatever, they've got it. They're doing it right now. Why? Well, they're only going to be there probably for like maybe a couple hours, maybe. So why don't we just go there in like a couple hours? We can go outside right now and go do some crafting or go do random quests or killing something. No, we need quests. We need a plan. I'm done. I'm
Wow.
bye.
Sounds like you play with assholes.
No, it's like these people that take it way too seriously. It's either those or the people that take it just whatever. They just kind of throw care to the wind, and then I end up getting into group wipes. So then all of a sudden, fun goes out the window. It's either fun goes out the window because they take it too seriously, or fun goes out the window because they don't care and they don't know how to play the game well. Like, oh, you know, okay, I'm the dude with the sword and shield, so that means I do a lot of damage. No, you make sure I don't get my ass whipped. That's your job. You're the tank. That means you take a
Hmm.
horrific beating, all right? So go take your spanking and smile. Instead, they just start swinging their sword and shield around like a bunch of morons.
Yeah, MMO sound very fun. Not,
If
but
you
anyway.
with if you're with friends, they can be, but you got to be
Yeah, but
playing
I
with.
mean, these other games to play with friends. You don't have to do an MMO
Yeah, I
unless
know.
you just know 10 guys you love to play with. Like if it's just 2 to 4, or maybe even 2 to 6. Like you can just go play a normal game.
Yeah.
Unless you're just so popular, you got 20 guys to play with all the time.
Well, I mean, if you
There's
get
really
into a
no
good
need.
guild, and there are a few guilds, I've been part of like I think like one or two, in which they can screw around, but they can also play seriously. And those are the kind of guys that can make the
Hmm.
game fun because you know, they understand dying in a game is not fun. It's a pain in the ass, and it just makes it more of a chore to deal with the game. But then,
Hmm.
they're not going to be all strict up in business about it. They're going to joke around with you and crack dirty jokes and, poke fun at you left or right, and just make the game fun by by them adding themselves to it. So it all depends on
Yeah.
who you play with. That's the problem. You should make sure it's good unity.
Mhm. I mean, okay. I think the $1 million question. Move on to the next subject.
Okay.
Is you have a PS3, right? Would you give it to Microsoft for $100
No,
toward the Xbox One?
no, no. That's
No,
no, no, hell
you
no.
don't want to think about it.
No, nine. I'm gonna say it, and let's see. It's Spanish, English, dirty English, and French. I think it's French. Yeah, French. No. Oh wait, let's add in really dirty English. Fuck no, motherfucker. No, I that makes no sense to me. Why does Microsoft want my PS3? So then an Xbox One can cost the same as a PS4. Like, what would they do with it? What are they gonna do with my PS3? Seriously,
That's not. You should be worried about what are you gonna do with your Xbox One? What are the millions of games you can play? What are you gonna do as soon as you get your Xbox One
set it
for
down on
four
my
hundred
computer
dollars?
so it can be a really nice lift for my monitor. Like seriously, what? Like, I'm not saying there's nothing out for the Xbox One, but I mean, what isn't out right now that isn't available on a 360 or PS3 or something I couldn't just wait for down the road? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's no huge. I'm glad I had the chance to play, Dead Rising 3 and
yeah,
Black Flag and on the next gen, and 2K looks crazy. NBA 2K looks crazy as
ugh,
hell. So I'm glad I had a chance to play that, but it's no like dying need to have one.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing. It's like I have zero urge in order to get one right now. And but back to like what we were talking about, I want to know what is the goal for that. Like I thought
I'm
they were
sure
kind of
some
being
people would
buddy
do
buddy
it.
about this, you know, like even they were tweeting to each other, you know, like, hey, good luck on your launch next week, guys, you know, things like that. It's like so seriously, like, why do you want our PS3s? Are you just gonna make a monument in the shape of a middle finger and aim it towards the general vicinity of like the nearest Sony studios? It,
Maybe they'll just take the Blu-ray drives out
and
and
put
do
them in
something with
Xboxes and go, look, now the Xbox 360 works.
them. Yeah, they'll put in Xbox Ones actually.
Probably. It's like, we need. Let's see, what's a cheap way of doing it? Hey, PS3's got some stuff we can use. Let's strip PS3s. How are we gonna get them? How are we gonna get them kind of cheap? Okay, we'll take $100 off an Xbox One if you give us a PS3. Done.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, and obviously you wouldn't do it. But like I said, I think it's somebody out there who's just like, I don't see anything coming out on current gen or old gen, whatever the hell it's supposed to call it. I don't see anything else coming out on my PS3, and I don't feel like playing GTA anymore. Um, I feel like making it to next gen. I don't want to play anything on PS4 anytime soon. I can get $100 off my Xbox One, so I'm going to do it. I don't think there's a lot of people, but it's definitely some people who fit that criteria.
Yeah. See, I don't doubt there's not a need for it, but seriously, $100, like, wouldn't GameStop or like another trade-in store, like even a local one, pay you more than $100?
Yeah, I was actually reading in a forum. 'Cause I did see some people say like GameStop you can get more, but in the forum I was reading at the time, I'm not 100% sure it was right, but they said it depends like on the quality and the model of your PS3.
Well, yeah.
It might be 120. If you have a like original one, it might be a different price. So it depends on like it's so many different models of PS3s and stuff. So around $100 from what I read seems pretty fair.
I mean, like, how do they do that? Like, do they literally you just buy it through Microsoft and they just take off $100, or do they give you like $100 rebate, or do they just give you like a coupon in the form of $100? I mean,
I know it's through their store, so you might have to either mail it in or take it to a Microsoft store. I mean, I don't think that part is really important. I just think it's just interesting that they're doing it. It's just
right.
so
Well,
it's
no,
just
I was
so
just asking
screw
because like I'm
you.
I'm curious about the process of it all because I mean, if it's going to take me, you know, like 4 to 6 weeks kind of thing, because you know they gotta get it, then they gotta make sure it works, then they gotta praise it, make sure it actually worth it is $100, then they gotta contact me, and then what if it's like no, we don't want it, or yeah, we can't give you $100 now, you gotta give me my PS3 back, it's gotta come through the mail. It's like
I mean,
okay,
if you live near a Microsoft store, you just go there like you would GameStop.
well yeah, but
So
I
if
mean like
you're
they
if
gotta get
you're
the
in a
PS3
major
somehow
city
though.
or near a major city, you can just drive and do it like you
Oh,
would with
okay.
Best Buy.
Okay, so I didn't know like they're I thought it was like an online store kind of thing.
No, Microsoft store is like an Apple store.
Oh, see, I'm in a podunk town, so we don't have that here. We don't have them fancy stores like that. We just got a Walmart.
Do you have Targets?
We got Targets, boy. Yeah, we living in the high life now. We get that
But yeah,
refined
I
water
mean,
cost $2 a bottle.
it's just such a few move. I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's like why? I want to know why. Why are they doing this? Where are they going to go with it? Like, is it serious? Like, I wouldn't doubt. Like, you're right, Vincent. Like, they're just doing it to get Blu-ray drives.
Well, I was joking, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if that were
Well, I mean,
true.
think about it. I mean, is there much of a difference between one Blu-ray drive and another? I mean,
I can't say. I don't know.
as far as I know, like certain parts, it's just name brands, and that's about it. And even then, couldn't it just be reformatted or something like that? I don't know, but I'm just saying it's possible that, or it's like a big middle finger to Sony. It's like that's right, they'll give us your old system for our new system.
Yeah, it does seem like they would include 360 too, though. It does seem like they would say PS3 and 360,
Yeah, it'd be nice
not
if they kind
just
of like if
PS3.
you give us a 360 as well, we'll toss in $50.
Or it'd be hilarious to say they threw in Wii U also,
If you give us a
but
Wii U,
they
we'll
don't
give you
even
five
care.
bucks
they
and a candy
don't
bar.
even, like It was like, what is a Wii U? Like, what? No, we're not worried about them
We
at
don't
all.
take urine samples. That's not required. No, no.
And the other piece of news is, I don't know. It's not really Sony doing anything anti Microsoft, but it does kind of make Microsoft look bad. Is the PlayStation Plus games for February? They have 6 games. Four are for PS3 and two are for PS Vita. I'm about to say PSP
There's
for
one for
for,
PS4, yeah.
for PS Vita. Is one PS4?
One is PS4. It's Outlast on the PS4. The PS3
Oh
ones
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
are Metro Last Light, Payday 2, and Remember Me. And then the PS Vita ones are Street Fighter X Tekken and Mod Nation Racers Road Trip. So, I mean, that's really nice. I can't vouch for Street Fighter X Tekken, but I haven't heard anything bad about it. I don't think. It's a fighting game. I don't play those. I don't really like them. I think I heard Mod Nation Racers was pretty good. Remember Me
Hmm.
was kind of an it's kind of a joke because it's kind of a forgotten name. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like they forgot a word. Remember Me, comma please. Uh, Payday 2 I heard was pretty good if you like that kind of team up shooter kind of thing. Metro
I
Last
played a
Light.
demo on 360. That wasn't. I didn't like it.
Uh,
I like the concept, but the gameplay felt completely off. Maybe
yeah,
it's way better on PC. Like maybe it was the console port was an afterthought.
yeah.
But playing it on 360, like it felt like a weird mod. It felt like someone modded Counter Strike or Half
Oh,
Life or
okay.
something.
Yeah, I mean, I tried the original Payday, and I see where you're going. I never tried Payday 2, but I see where you're going with because I don't think they'd really go that much further. I mean, it's a sequel. You can't really do much except make it look prettier and maybe add in a few different things. But
It was very floaty.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. And I know like one thing a lot of people tell me about is like the cops are a huge pain in the ass. So it's like you take GTA 5 and up it like 3 times, and that's what the cops are like. They're extremely annoying.
It's almost now that I think about it, like the actual just the combat, the gameplay. Um, it's almost like the like House of the Evil Dead, like Dave and Buster's arcade games. It's like
Oh.
it's just like that's the feeling you almost get. Like Payday 2 should be in Dave and Buster's. At least the 360 version. Like I said, maybe the PC version is way better. I don't know.
No idea. I know Metro Last Light. I only played like a few minutes of it because I want to beat Metro 2033 first, but it's it's really good looking and it's pretty solid, unique story and like they've done some pretty good things like stealth and whatnot, and it's definitely
Mhm.
like a shooter survival. It's not like a zombie survival kind of thing. You don't build stuff, you survive, but they did like kind of unique like I don't know if it's the same in Last Light, but in Metro 2033, there's like military grade ammo, and that's like currency in the world. But you can also use it because since it's like clean and shiny, it does more damage. But at the same time, it's like you're spending dollars. You're shooting dollars at your bad guy. So it's like, do you stick with the dirty, bullets you get from everybody else and they're dirt cheap? Or do you pretty much shoot like Benjamin Franklin's all day long and burn through your money? It's like, well, I can't buy anything better now because I spent it all in the last tunnel down there.
Mhm.
And then Outlast is a really freaking scary game. Oh my god, as oh, very few games get horror right, and this one, oh yeah, this is creepy because it really makes you feel you're watching it from the perspective of what's the guy's name, Miles Upshur. Okay, but the whole thing is he's apparently supposed to investigate this massive asylum, and there's been some really weird experiments going along. And I remember the one thing that just made me just almost piss myself. It was just so creepy. There's some big ogre-looking dude, and the quick thing that popped up my screen was "run away and hide." I'm like, what? And I look, and there's this guy. He just starts beating on the door in front. I'm like, oh my god! So I ran, hid in a locker, and there he is. He's like, I can smell you, boy. You smell real scary. I'm like, holy shit, that is really creepy. And just to see him, like, it almost like he's looking right at the locker you're hiding. Is like, for the love of God, don't let him rip it open. I'm not, I'm not Solid Snake here. All I have is a camera and the fact I have two legs and can run, and he's got
Hmm.
arms bigger than my torso.
Isn't that an Oculus Rift game?
I think so. I want to say
Okay.
yes.
I want to say I saw someone playing that on Oculus Rift.
I wouldn't do that. I
You
would shit
wouldn't?
myself. I would be screaming like a little girl, and then I would start to stink afterwards. Like, sir, do you require a diaper? And like, yes, I do. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
That
I
is
was already thinking like this is making Microsoft look really bad, but it I didn't realize Outlast was a PS4 game. That's kind of even worse since Microsoft hasn't started giving free games. At least as far as I know, Microsoft hasn't started getting free games for Xbox One
well. I mean,
at
I'm
all.
kind of glad Outlast is on PS3 because it's very visually driven and audio driven. I mean, that's something. Uh, I wouldn't want them to degrade even a little bit with the visuals. I mean, I play in the highest I can on my PC, and I wouldn't dare turn down because I mean, even the lighting. You look down, you see two glowing eyes, and you got the night vision turned on. It's like, fuck, I gotta go down the hallway, and that guy's looking this general direction. It's like, okay, is he just gonna be a jump scare kind of thing, or is he gonna chase me down and try and beat me?
Hmm. I mean, I think the other question is, does this actually do anything though? I'm sure it makes like this people who already have PS3s happy, and maybe they're probably happier for having PS Plus. But I don't. For me, it's weird because I this wouldn't do anything for me, even if I had my PS3 hooked up right now, which I could easily do, or if I did have a PS4, or even these same games were on Xbox One or whatever. I don't give a hell. But it's just like I don't want to play. There's a reason I didn't buy or rent any of those games because I don't want to play any of those games. So I mean, I'd rather waste $60 than waste 6 hours.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying.
No, I get you. Like,
So
yeah, Payday 2. I don't know. Like, did you ever try the Metro games?
for Metro, it's just more. I don't want to get into a game right now that's that in depth and like to me that felt like a game that would last at least 20 hours.
Oh yeah,
So it felt like a long, expansive experience, and I'm just not in the mood for that
I
right
got you.
now. So I'll probably download it and maybe play it like during some boring time later. But for the rest of those, you couldn't pay me to play Payday. And remember me, I would maybe download it and play for like 20 minutes, and then figure out why this game got ignored. If it maybe I don't know, who knows, maybe it didn't deserve to get ignored. But
Well,
it is overall like it's a reason I didn't play those games when they first came out.
right. I mean, remember me from what I understand. Even when I picked up on it, it's like the story is just kind of eh. I mean, the whole thing about it is it turns out you can access your memories and the memories of other people, like Oculus Rift style. Like you can actually experience them and immerse yourself in them. And the person you play as, she's supposed to be something like a memory catcher or something like that. And it turns out she has
Yeah, like a
amnesia.
hacker. Hmm.
Yeah, like she has a special ability where she can go through other people's heads and change their memories to her advantage. So it's like, all
Yeah.
right, that's kind of cool, but from if I remember right, that wasn't used that often. It's like maybe 3 or 4 times. It's like really, it's like that's actually a really cool
Mm.
mechanic. And then it's like, oh, okay, there's fighting. Well, kind of. Well, there's like you can make your own combos. Well, all right, that sounds pretty cool. Well, the combos do things like you can put in like self-healing stuff. So like if you hit a guy and it's just like square triangle square X, all of a sudden it's like you hit, then you hit hard, then you heal and you heal again. It's like so I never die. I'm all of a sudden like a vampire. Yeah, if you can punch him, like how hard is it to punch him? Well, some are kind of hard, some aren't that hard at all. I, I'm I am confused.
So I mean, what was the other game? I think we talked. And the Outlast was Outlast. Does that last long? I got the feeling that was like only like a 6 hour game or something.
I I want to say yeah, but I want to say it's closer to 10. I mean, it depends on how you treat horror games. I mean, if you play them, like if you get immersed into it, yeah, you'll do a lot of hiding and like slowly looking around and peek around corners, things like that. So it all depends on the player, really. I mean, I know there's a few people that like the horror games just don't bother them at all. They stay completely out of the moment. They just play the game for the sake of playing the game. I mean, then there's also like the Vita games like Mod Nation Racers and Street Fighter X Tekken. So I'm not a
Yeah,
fighting.
Sony's doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, you've got a horror game, you've got a horror shooter game, you've got a co-op shooter game, you've got a crappy fighter game, you've got what I'm assuming is a good 2D fighter game, and then like a good racing game. That's kind of like Mario Kart. So I mean, it's a pretty good selection. I mean, at this
Yeah.
time, most people who have a PS4 have a PS Vita. So at the very least, you've got 2D fighter, Mario Kart, and first-person horror
Hmm.
for free, which ain't bad at all. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
that's
just 6 games in general. Even 6 games and all of them. Well, I'm not sure if Outlast was a retail release, but pretty much all of them were retail, $60 releases.
yeah. I think
That's
Outlast
that's
was
good.
like 30, something like that. I know it's on Steam. It's 20 or 30 bucks, maybe 40. I mean, I know it wasn't 50 or 60 bucks. I remember that much because I got it, and
Mhm.
I got it when it was on the winter sale on Steam.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's pretty good. Pretty good month.
yeah. Hopefully Sony's still this generous when I eventually get my PS3. I mean my PS4 in the next couple months.
All of a sudden, you get nothing but like Tomb Raider games, the original Tomb Raider games, and God, what else? PlayStation Battle Royale or
Oh
whatever that
no.
is.
They'll do like Ratchet All for One or whatever that the 4 co-op Ratchet game.
With online mode turned off.
Oh wow, that would be actually way worse.
But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much for this week.
okay.
Yeah, any other final thoughts?
Thanks for the torture of making me think of Elder Scrolls Online.
I want to see you play Outlast with the Oculus on,
Oh God,
just to
hell
see
no.
just to see what
It
that'll be
sits there and
like.
haunts me on my desktop. I mean, I look at it every time, like, do I have an empty bladder right now? I'm like, oh God. And I overplay it. But I mean, it's really, really good. I mean, the story is kind of expansive and it's always just creepy as hell and it looks really well. I mean, like the lighting, the sounds, everything. I mean, you're always on edge. It's not like you can look at the HUD and be like, oh, look, the radar's telling me there's a bad guy up ahead. It's like, no, you're always like, was that movement? Wait a minute, do I hear footsteps?
Yeah.
Oh crap, hide, 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 hide. And all of a sudden you're hiding like, okay. The problem is I don't know how far away he is and which direction he was going. So how long should I sit in this locker? So
What's the longest time you spend in a locker, or just hiding like under a table or anywhere?
um I didn't get real far into it. I just remember the first big bald dude shows up. You have to hide in a locker. It's like like a tutorial to tell you like how to hide in there. And it's that little bit, which I stood in there because I saw him. He leaves and he turns left, and it's like, thank God I have to go right. But I'm thinking, crap, how far left did he go? So like I open the door, and here's the problem: you can't slowly open the door and like peek through. You have to open it all the way, or you like boot it open, and it's hard because it's easy to boot it open. And it's like I open it and I look around, like, okay, here's the problem. I look left, nothing. It's an empty hall. I'm like, fuck, is he still down there? Did he double back? Is he just hiding in the darkness? So like I end up walking backwards. I'm like, oh god. I whip around and there's nothing down there. It's like it's quiet. There's no music. It's just like ambient noises, and like I am creeped out because I know there's that big bald dude who can like just tear me a new one in a heartbeat. I was just like, no, no, the hell with you, game. So like I just ran for it. I'm like, screw it. I ran full blast, ran down the stairs, looked behind me like, okay, nothing. So that's a really good horror game. That to me, I would never want to play the Oculus Rift. I would, Skyrim, any of the kind of action stuff, no problem. A good horror game, no, never, ever, never find me do that. You couldn't pay me to do that. You could probably pay me to do it, but I'd have to see the money first.
Does it be real money? Can't be like Monopoly
Hell no.
money
I'd
or
have to go down to the
McDonald's
bank
money.
first and be like, okay, is this real? You gotta tell me it's real first. All right, it's real. Okay, now let's get busy. Let's get cracking.
I'll get you some Red Lobster coupons.
Yeah. Maybe if it was what's a good Carl's Jr. some Hardee's. There we go.
Really? You really have Carl's Jr.'s than Red Lobster?
Yeah. Give me some good
Okay.
fat burgers rather than, some possibly bad shellfish. I don't know. I'm not a Red Lobster guy. But anyways, what about you? You got anything else to say before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna. We need to start the Kickstarter just to get you in an Oculus Rift
Oh God.
and see how scared you get.
There you
Well,
go.
it'd be
Start.
hilarious to just raise 100K for you to for you to beat Outlast with the Oculus Rift on.
Oh my God. Yeah, a few backer parts should be on there for like signed diapers. No, thank you. You'd have to give me a good chunk of money for me to go through that because I'd be afraid my heart would give out. And be like, "Ugh." Give him a shot of adrenaline.
you're
He's got to keep going.
you're young. You should be okay.
Just give him some more energy. Give him another energy shot. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. What's his
All
heart
that
rate up to?
Carl's Jr. in your heart should keep it going.
Yeah. What's his heart rate up to? 200? Ah, he's fine. Okay. You can find Digital High on Twitter at Entertain Fuse. You can also find us on iTunes, review us, subscribe for us, follow us, like us, share us, whatever. What else do we have? Do we have Facebook, I think, for Entertainment Fuse, right?
Yeah, it's a Facebook group,
Yeah. So let me pull that up on the stream here real quick, like.
and we're on Twitch for
We
people
are on
listening
Twitch. That's right.
on
We're streaming right now.
iTunes or YouTube or wherever else.
Bring it right here. Entertainment Fuse. Wee. That's Entertainment Fuse Web, I believe. Facebook.com, Entertainment Fuse Web. And bring up the Twitter here real quick. That should be it. Give it a quick little second. There we go. Yep, there's Twitter. And then I'd show our Twitch, but I know it'd go straight to mine, my personal one, so it'd take too long to change on over. So, yeah, that would be Entertainment Fuse. Yeah, Twitch on Entertainment Fuse. So it should be just twitch.com/Entertainment Fuse. But that's been it. No more last words from me. Vince, I know you're an antisocial bastard.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds about right.
I do have my Twitter, Aaron_GGF, and then I do have my like streaming stuff, which is just GGF Wolfus. Find it at JustinTV.tv or Twitch.tv. So that's about it. We'll see y'all next week.
Digital